Welcome to episode 191 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton. Today it's a lonely twosome. I'm joined by Matt Bowden.
Thanks for having me.
Dan is in the woods.
Yeah.
He's roughing it.
It's not like the proverbial woods. He's like in the woods.
He's roughing it. He's living off the land.
Pooping.
He'll be able to tell you next week. Yeah, but he's digging a hole. He's pooping in it.
Yeah.
He's burying it so the bears don't get him.
The way I hear it is he's also making fires and cooking fish.
That's correct. He is. He's full on camping, sleeping on the ground, no tent.
That sounds miserable. We left that behind so we didn't have to do it anymore. You know, as a people.
He's a man of the land.
Yeah, but even a man of the land can sleep in a bed inside of a house. You know what I'm saying?
So you can't take the wild out of some people, though, and that's what he's doing right now.
Right.
So yeah, full disclosure: we recorded this podcast once already.
Yeah, this is the second time that we're gonna go over the same stuff. So
it should feel pretty smooth this time.
I hope so. We had so many technical difficulties on the first one. Oh Jesus, my telephone.
Oh my gosh, it started already.
I forgot to turn my alarms off.
So Dan actually wasn't camping on the last one. We were full staff, but it just did not turn out audio-wise like a product that we wanted to put out.
Yeah, part of that's my fault. I was trying some crazy stuff because for episode 200, if you didn't know, that's going to be a big turn for Gamestitch. We're gonna have some new stuff in the works. The podcast is gonna get some new music. We're gonna have a new website up. New YouTube graphics, at least content wise. It's just gonna be the podcast as far as I know. New everything. Yeah, it's year 4 is what we're coming up on, or is it year 5 that we're coming up on?
I think it's just 4.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on year 4. We like to do an overhaul around October of every year. That's kind of around the anniversary date, so we're just trying to get all that stuff in line, and in testing it out, we fucked the podcast up. Now we get to do it twice, which is fun.
It should be more streamlined, though, for the listeners.
I hope so. I hope we don't bore them to damn death.
Yeah, because the excitement's not there?
Yeah. I guess so. That or they'll get frustrated. Knowing that we've recorded it twice, knowing that we've gone over this, they'll just...
So you feel like I should not have let them in on this piece of information?
I don't think it matters. I think Dan will be the person that matters. Did Dan know that we were going to do this again?
Well, no, you can't reach him. He's in the woods.
Well, see, so Dan will be the one that like drives his car off in a ditch, angry, or throws his phone against the ground, or whatever it is. He'll destroy whatever item he listens to this podcast on.
He can't be reached. I've sent a carrier pigeon, but I've not heard word back.
Right.
So the thing about the carrier pigeon is you don't know if it gets delivered.
Mm-hmm. There's no way to
get one until you get one back. Yeah. So you're blind with it. I don't know if he got it or not.
Well, you just gotta trust that he did. Those pigeons are trained.
Well, I didn't train the pigeon, though. That's the problem. I just grabbed a pigeon, strapped a message on him, and set him free.
Well, not every pigeon's a carrier pigeon. Let's be clear.
No, they're all carrier. If you put something on them, they're carrier pigeons.
Right.
They don't start life as a carrier pigeon, but as soon as you strap something to them...
I don't think that's how it works, but I hope it is, if that's the case.
No, that's it.
No, I understand how they came to be, then.
You can carrier any animal. You grab a random cat, you strap a message to their collar...
No, that's not true.
They deliver it for you.
That's not true. I know that for a fact.
You have to tell them where they're taking it, but that's a thing.
Right. I know that for a fact to not be true.
It's called carrying an animal.
Right.
It's where you convert them over
no,
to a carrier.
That's not true.
I'm still playing No Man's Sky.
I know you are.
A lot. I'm probably around 40, 45 hours.
All right, you're still in love with it?
Yeah, I really am.
Yeah.
That loop is still really shallow. I still really don't care.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's relaxing. I think that's more than anything. It's just really relaxing for me.
Yeah, I think that's my draw to it. Also, is it's not challenging to have fun in that game or to feel something with that game. You just turn it on and you get that experience. You know.
So because of the way I've played, in that I upgraded my exosuit and my ship is almost upgraded. I'm like 2 away from a full upgraded ship. I only mine the resources I need right then.
Yeah.
So I don't have to fuck around with worrying about what's on a planet. If I go somewhere with with something rare, I usually will mine it just to for shits and giggles, but I don't have to mine anything, and that's nice. I can discover the animals, I can explore the planet, but I don't have like an agenda.
Yeah.
And that makes it more relaxing to me because it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's no like self-imposed timeline or struggle or stress. Yeah.
I'm on an extreme planet right now.
Are you gonna try to do that trophy?
Yeah, I think I'm like 9 souls in.
Jesus.
It's hot.
It's cold on mine. That's what I'm working on. 200
degrees Celsius. And it storms about every 45 seconds.
Sounds right. It gets hotter.
It's a real shithole. It's scorched.
Yeah.
But here's the weird thing: is it's probably not as far as like the animals go, but as far as like the outpost and the shelters, it's probably the most rich planet I've found.
That seems weird.
I know, because nothing should be able to survive, but they're everywhere.
Like, that's the planet they settled.
Everywhere. Yeah. Like, you can't fly 15 feet, it feels like, without finding another colony.
That's great, though. Because I bet you're learning a lot of words, picking up a lot of, like, a lot of upgrades and stuff like that.
I'm around 400 and some odd words. So I'm working on it.
Do you know, maybe nobody cares, so I wonder what the total words you have to learn are to know, like, all of the Gek and the Atlas and the Viking and the what are the other guys called?
The Gek, the Viking, and the
Korvac, and then the Atlas. So there's 4.
And then the Atlas, right? I don't think the Atlas has very many.
I need to jump back into No Man's Sky. I left on an extreme cold planet trying to finish that trophy. So that I don't have to do it again. So I can kind of abandon those extreme planets and just play it even more relaxed. I want to get into some space pirating and becoming a good starfighter pilot, but this week I really didn't get a chance to play much. In the past couple of days since we recorded the podcast for the first time, between then and now, I've played some WWE and some Metal Gear. Just my normal games in rotation. Metal Gear is really pissing me off. That platinum is hard. Some of the things you have to do are not hard, but the things that you have to do in combination with other things to finish missions to get the trophies, those are hard.
What percent are you at for the trophy?
Oh, let me look real quick. It's over 70.
I'm gonna guess 74.
Is it because you're looking at it?
No, I really have no idea. It's because I wanted to make it a game, and I guessed
76. You got real close, man.
Damn it!
You got real close. I don't have many left. The big one that I did recently was develop a nuke and then destroy a nuke. So 3.
So S rank and everything.
Yep. Completing all the mission tasks.
Right. Those are all bastards.
Those are the 2 that I'm working on. Those are
the 2 that when you get burnt out because they fucking suck, you'll have to go do something else.
Well, that's all I have left to do. I've got those 2. I've got the platinum trophy. I've got so there's one for completing all the missions, and there's one for completing all the missions with an S rank. So there's some missions that, because the way Metal Gear 5 did it, they're like duplicates of the original missions, but you have certain stipulations, like you go in no guns. So I will play those for the first time to get an S rank. So I'm going to pop 2 trophies at the same time when I complete all with an S rank, and then completing all mission tasks. Those 3 will knock out real fast. So those 3 plus the platinum. And then I've got one for I've got 2 more wild animals to find. I've got that goddamn leopard tortoise and something else. There's 2 that I gave up on it. So that's probably going to be my go-to. And I've got 2 hidden trophies that I can't ever remember what the shit they are.
Could be anything.
Yeah, no, there's something stupid. I can't remember what it is.
I'm gonna go for the platinum in No Man's Sky, but mine will be a lot easier than yours.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, you probably platinum all on one planet.
As long as it's an extreme conditions planet. Well, no, you can't. You have to scan so many planets, like 10 planets or something. Find all the wildlife. You have to warp
a certain amount of times too, I think.
Yeah, you have to do space combat so many times. Yeah. So I need the warp one. I need the space combat. I need all the wildlife on each planet. And I'm working on the Souls one right now, and that's it. That's all that's left for me.
That's not terrible.
But each one of those has 2 trophies.
Yeah.
So I don't look like I'm very close, but I'm not too far away. But I want to. I like that game. I want to support those guys. I think they got a lot of shit, and I think some of it was deserved. I think some of it wasn't.
I feel like in that game that those trophies are going to come quicker than you expect. Because I got that walk-in trophy without even thinking about it.
Yeah, they come real organically. Yeah. I don't think it's a game that you want to turn it on and try to do those things until you play it.
Yeah.
Until you play it for a while.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm 45 hours, and I just decided to start the Extreme Planet one because I happened to land on a planet as I was just going through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So just Metal Gear?
Yeah, Metal Gear is really, that's the thing.
That's where your focus is at.
So WWE 2K17 is coming out next month on the 11th. So I've been spending a lot of time with 16 because 16 is probably one of the best ones since 2010 came out. 2010 and 11 were 2 of my favorites in the series. So
some controversial changes coming.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
They took away a mode.
What mode? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Is Showcase a mode?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Showcase is a thing, but Showcase doesn't matter.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah. I think Showcase may have been gone. No, Showcase is in 2016 also. So, what Showcase is they like whoever the cover athlete is, they'll like chronicle their career where you play their highlight matches and stuff like that. That's fine for that to go because what they really need to work on is making the career mode and the universe mode better. The universe mode is really where the game should shine and where it doesn't. So this is going to sound really stupid on the podcast. So I really, really love professional wrestling to the point where like when I get these games, I make a character that's like my height and weight, like kind of fat, and I scan my tattoos in and put them on him, and then I make this guy like suck. Like I make him the gimmick of the match is that he loses, right? So what I do in 2016 is I start these rivalries, and I'll fight. You know, you build up these feuds going from across a month all the way up to the pay-per-view, and so I'll pick a wrestler, and then we'll get to the pay-per-view, and if I win, I'll keep a piece of their ring gear, like a trophy. And if I lose, I just lose. But that's what I've started doing to try to make the game last until October. Because it's really losing steam. It's really losing steam. There's all the new wrestlers and everything have happened, and there's all these cool cruiserweights in WWE, and there's all this fun stuff that's happening, and the game doesn't reflect it anymore because the business changes so fast over the course of 12 months that the games can't keep up. And they don't do the thing that like other sports titles do, which I can't figure out, where they update the roster as the year goes along and they update stats as the year goes along and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that coming up in a couple of years, WWE gets that with their games.
Yeah, I want to think that went away. That could be wrong. I do know they added backstage areas.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen backstage areas coming up. They really improved
the ladder match.
Yeah, nobody plays a fucking ladder match now. A lot of the new stars are in though, like AJ Styles coming back to WWE after 15 years or so. So he's back in. Nakamura is in, who's the current NXT champ. A lot more of the female wrestlers this year after they've had this huge kind of they call it a women's revolution, but they've had this really big improvement in women's wrestling in WWE over the past probably 2 years, probably 18 months to 2 years, and so a lot more women wrestlers versus 2016, which only had like maybe 6, in 2015, which had none at all. I think, I don't know, they really, one of them you couldn't even make a female wrestler. I think it was 15, you couldn't even make a female wrestler. They really dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, it's crazy because they're a big part of actual wrestling.
Yeah, the women's wrestling is a huge part of wrestling now. It's because it's gone so far away from them being eye candy and managers and them being actual wrestlers. With Bayley and Becky Lynch, even though I don't like her, and Charlotte, Ric Flair's daughter, and Paige, even though she's gone. Sasha Banks being my favorite of the bunch. Asuka or Kana, she came over from Japan. Like there's a really big pool of talent in the female division. Also, there's a huge pool of Japanese talent coming over. There are like 6 wrestlers on the roster now that don't even speak English, which is really cool. And one of them's got a belt around his waist. He's a champion. So they're really branching out. It's really nice to see some of the stuff that you see Triple H, who's in charge of NXT, which is like the developmental league. A lot of the stuff that you see him doing is starting to bleed over onto the main roster, and it's really refreshing because it keeps WWE fresh in the when you have like ROH with a bunch of independent stars, and you have New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you have Dragon Gate and stuff like that. You see wrestlers getting smaller; they're no longer muscle bound, and
like sounds like a good game, Muscle Bound.
Yeah,
I'd play that.
Yeah, this turned into a wrestling podcast. This
well, it didn't turn into one. You turned it into one.
Yeah, I love wrestling. I have
it's an important
huge
distinction
passion for it. So
yeah, this is a good place to stop.
Yeah,
before everybody else does.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was video game related, which is pretty good for us.
Thanks. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times there's not even a natural transition to how we get to what we're talking about. But that started at video games, and then you just ran with it.
Yeah. Thanks.
So it started from a really natural place.
Yeah.
The PlayStation meeting. That's a thing that's about to happen.
Wednesday,
September 7th, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch it on the interwebs. If you're in New York and you got invited, you should go to the PlayStation Theater.
I've been beside it before, walked in front of it.
So there's a lot that got leaked already. A whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there'll be some surprises. Let's just spend a couple minutes talking about what we think we might see there.
Sure.
Let's pick off the easy stuff.
As far as like things that we've already seen, or things that I just expect us to see.
Things that we've probably seen that are definitely going to be there.
We're definitely going to see the PlayStation Slim. They're going to spend a little bit of time on that. The PS4 Slim.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect they will spend a little bit of time on PlayStation VR, even if it's to mention a console bundle.
That's where I think you get your VR. I think they stay away from it, but I do think they announce a PS4 VR bundle with at least $50 worth of savings.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's safe to say. I think the big thing that we can expect, the only real surprise announcement, if you can call it that, is we're going to get some concrete PlayStation Neo news. I think we have to. The PS4 Neo, we have to get a launch window. We have to get some solid specs, right? Because we have some pretty solid stuff from Scorpio. So PlayStation needs to come out and say, hey, you know, the last time we talked about this was 18 months ago. We're going to come out and give you guys an update. Here's what we're working with. Here's how we're going to compete with Scorpio. Here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan for Neo going forward. I think they need to have a really clear marketing strategy going in as to why PlayStation Neo matters and to what fan base they're actually making it for. And they need to be really clear as to whether or not they're alienating any part of their audience. Of course, they're going to say that they're not, but I think they need to make it very obvious that PlayStation Neo is or is not for certain PlayStation consumers. But they need to make it very clear who it's for. And I think that's going to be... to me, it's a simple analogy of just saying, hey, look, PlayStation 4 Neo is like having ultra settings on the PC. It's like having your graphic settings turned up to ultra. PlayStation 4 is like having your graphic settings on high. So if you care about that, here's PlayStation Neo, and here's what it adds extra for you. So I think being really clear and concise with marketing is going to make a lot of sense if they make a big PlayStation 4 Neo announcement, which I assume that they'll have to. I don't really know of any games that are on the way that would make sense to announce at this, so I think it's got to be all hardware. A lot of rumors of a PlayStation Vita 2 announcement coming. I don't think we're going to see that. But that would be cool to see them. That
would be a stellar show if they show off the Slim, the Neo, and then they fucking hit you with a surprise Vita 2.
Yeah, or a maybe like a companion to... I don't feel like PlayStation needs a handheld companion. I don't think so. I think their consoles are fine on their own. But I understand, like, you like to have one with you. People who travel for work like to have one. The job that I do right now, I'm getting to the point where I would like to have something handheld to take to work. So I understand it. It just doesn't excite me. PlayStation 4, I think, is going to be, or PlayStation 4 Neo, I think, is going to be pretty divisive. I think that's going to cause a lot of discussion. I think the Slim and the VR stuff, the vanilla stuff that we kind of already expect, I think that's probably going to be the most interesting to me.
I think they'll stay away from too much VR talk because they don't want people to connect the dots with VR and Neo, that they have to have the Neo to play. So I think they'll stay away from VR. Other than that bundle announcement, they'll probably show off the DualShock, or the PlayStation Move double pack, which is also leaked with PlayStation VR branding on it that they're going to sell.
So you think VR is only going to work with Neo?
No, but I think they don't want people to think that.
Oh, I understand.
So if they come out, they talk about Neo for 45 minutes, and then they try to spend 10 minutes on VR, I think people's brain who aren't maybe super into the industry are going to just say, I've got to have this new one to play this VR.
Yeah, they'll spend from now till launch to convince people otherwise.
Right. So I don't think that they want to... and maybe you even start with VR. You do your quick little VR thing, you get it out of the way, then you transition to the Slim, and then you give people time to forget so that you can then spend the rest of the conference or meeting, I guess I should say, focused on the Neo.
Right. I think maybe one way... I think showing the Slim bundled with VR, or the Legacy console, I guess is what they'll call it, bundled with VR, that may be the best way to explain that, hey, this does work with your existing PlayStation 4.
That's why I think you'll get that bundle. I think it's marketing, it's setting the message as much as it is anything.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, but showing off what Neo does is going to be difficult. Because if you're watching it through a stream on a non-4K TV, it's not going to look any different.
Yeah.
So I expect much more talk, maybe side-by-side pictures, in which you can tell the difference because the pictures won't look as good.
Yeah.
They may even run them side-by-side, so you can't tell that it's 4K, but you can tell it looks better than the other one. I don't know how they'll do it. But that'll be difficult, so I expect them to show off probably Uncharted. Running in 4K, maybe...
What's a new title that they might show that off in?
I don't think they'll show anything new off in it, because again, I don't think they want to segregate the market. I think they'll show off existing games with it.
But you don't think that maybe they'll want to show off, because after October, games have to be PS4 Neo and PS4 compatible. So I mean, don't you think? I don't think
the message is as strong if they show it with something you haven't really seen much of. It's just going to look like a good-looking game.
I mean, I think that's what all of it's going to look like. It's going to look like a PS4 game.
Yeah, but if they show you Uncharted side by side, you get it because you've played it.
Yeah, but will Uncharted have the benefits of PlayStation 4 Neo built into it?
Oh, that's what I think they'll show it off on. I think that's the primary game they'll focus on to show it, is Uncharted 4. So not wrong, but
so does that mean that if a developer wants their existing game that comes out before Neo to have 4K and ultra, like the ultra high settings for graphical fidelity, does that mean that they're gonna have to re-release that? So does that mean that Sony's gonna have to announce a campaign of like legacy games that are gonna come out for PlayStation 4 Neo also? Do you think that's something we might see?
No, Sony said you can patch it in, so
gotcha.
Anything out before October should be able to patch it in.
Gotcha. Now what if they come out with a big No Man's Sky?
I don't think they'll show that game.
VR. They love showing that game, so they show it on PS4 Neo with VR.
If that was a part of the show, I don't think they show it anymore.
What if it's No Man's Sky 2? What if that's the announcement?
People are really feeling some sort of way about that game.
Yeah.
I think if you're Sony, you give that a little room to breathe. You let some updates hit. You remember how people were with Destiny?
Yeah.
They got in the line and to shit on that game. And same thing's happening for No Man's Sky. So I think you give that game a little time to breathe and air out like those 2-day-old pants. You got to let them cool down.
Yep.
So I don't think No Man's Sky's done. I think Sony will spend some more time with it, but I think they're going to let it breathe a little bit. Sales-wise, it did pretty well. I don't know what refunds they ended up giving. You hear a lot of mixed messaging about they refunded everything, just about, and then you hear other ones that say no refunds were given. So
yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? There'll probably be a class action lawsuit at some point.
Probably.
People are fucking nuts. So, give me a release date. What do you think? When's Neo come out?
I think holiday next year is
head to head with Scorpio.
Yeah, I think they have to. I will stand by that. I think they have to either beat Scorpio or they have to go head to head with it and say, hey, we're however many millions of users strong, and we know that this percentage will convert over to Neo, so we're going to make a screaming deal for trade-ins through our retailers, and we're going to make sure that we outsell the Scorpio this time also.
So I think the original plan was to come out this year alongside VR. I think when the Scorpio was announced, they pushed that back to spend a little more time because I think the Neo was underpowered compared to the Scorpio from the leak specs that we've seen. But now I think you'll see it in March. I don't think they want to go head-to-head. I don't think they need to go head-to-head. I think what they are selling is more of a baby step where Microsoft might be taking a full step.
March of 17 or March of 18? March of 17.
March of 17.
You're saying right after Christmas they're going to launch a new console.
Yep. I'm saying they had planned to launch it at Christmas. They're going to push it to March to give themselves some time, but they're going to launch it alongside Horizon. That's a game that they may show it off in. They're going to launch it beside Horizon.
It's going to be
GT Sport.
Tough to launch a baby step console 3 months removed from holiday. I think
they're fine.
I don't think it'll hit like PlayStation 4 did, you know?
I don't think it's going to hit no matter when it launches. I think people are going to have to adjust to this new style of this cell phone-esque upgrades.
Yeah, well, so this is something that we've discussed, the three of us, and I think that this is just pretty clear that consoles are going to a more PC-esque cycle for upgrades, right? Instead of 18 months, we're on 36-month cycle right now. If PlayStation 4 Neo comes out and really all it is a GPU upgrade and a vid card upgrade, but all the games are saying you're just cranking the settings on them, just like if you were playing on PC, then you're talking about a 36-month console cycle, which is essentially double the PC cycle right now, give or take. It's 18 to 24 months on the PC upgrade cycle. So we're going to get to that point eventually where like buying a new console is just like upgrading your PC, and so then what becomes the difference? So I think that they've got to really, like Microsoft and Sony really have to kind of mind their marketing and mind their words on this, because this is something that console players aren't looking for, right? Console players don't want to upgrade once every 36 months or once every 18 months. You make an investment, you expect it to last for a certain amount of time. If you wanted to upgrade your console all the time, you would just play on PC and upgrade your parts all the time. There would be that. That's the difference. The difference is if you want to play on the most up-to-date settings, you want to play it as great as it can ever look at the time that's released, you play it on PC and you invest $300 every 18 months or so. I think
but I think that's what we've talked about a lot. That's where we want it to be different, though. Like, make it modular, make it easy swap for people like me that don't want to fuck with it versus buying a whole new system. What'll eventually get down to every, 18, 12? Yeah. Like, how quick are we going to get?
And so maybe the Scorpio and the Neo are the baby step there. Maybe the Neo is the modular PlayStation 4, right? Maybe they're going to come out and say, hey, it's equipped with this. Next year, you're going to be able to pull this and this component out, upgrade the video card and the GPU whenever we do the next round of games, and we'll have
it's got to be simple though. Take the port off the side, slide a black box out, slide a new black box in.
Yeah, I assume it would be something as simple as that. You pop a little box open on the side of it, it's got one of those nice clean black PlayStation ribbons, you pull that out, you slide the new component in, you turn the system back on, and it updates through the network.
Yeah, so that would be super badass. That would be super badass if they said, look, we're not as powerful, but we're upgradable.
Yeah, we're not going to have to be, because in 18 months you're going to be able to buy a new video card for this.
Because if Scorpio is truly coming out holiday of next year, they're going to have to start making consoles, you figure, August at the latest.
Right.
They really need to start before then. So, if that is the case, that tech is going to be locked in at that point, whereas Sony, if truly upgradable, could make changes.
Yeah.
They could release something to go head-to-head that was just an upgrade.
And that could make a box that is still on the same console cycle that we're used to, but the upgrades can happen as frequently as they release them if you choose to buy into that, so you can stay on top of, you can be on top of the highest graphical fidelity, the best audio, all that stuff as it happens, but you don't have to.
And I don't think that's what Neo is, but
I don't
that would
either.
be
But
that's a pipe dream,
dreams.
though. That that modular system would be the thing that, if we have to go to this cycle, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I would prefer not to do this at all, and just keep
Right.
my system for 8 years and then buy the new ones.
Yeah, I mean, 5 to 8 years is a great console cycle that gives you plenty of time to have all the games that you're ever going to want to play, and then you buy something new right about the time that you want something new. But I still want games on my PlayStation 4. I'm not ready to buy like a new PlayStation 4. I'm still like, every time I turn this thing on, I'm like, where are all the games that made PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 2 great? There are great games on it, but I'm still waiting on those games that like make me forget that anything existed except for the PlayStation 4. So if they change to a new console already, PlayStation 4 missed the mark for me in that case. Monetarily for Sony, it was fantastic, but I've not seen anything out of it that I had to have.
So what you're saying is make PlayStation great again?
Yeah, make PlayStation great again, please. Please, Sony. If you're listening to this podcast, please make PlayStation great again.
Or maybe make Nintendo great again also, because they're struggling.
Yeah, but that would be for Reggie Fils-Aimé. So, Reggie.
I don't think Reggie calls the shots like you think he does.
I don't think Shuhei does either. Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're listening to this podcast, please make Nintendo great again. Who's in charge of Microsoft over there?
Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer. I don't know what to tell you.
Make Xbox great for the first time.
Yeah, try harder, bud.
Just kidding.
Hey, man, the 360 was a hit.
Yeah.
The 360
was good.
Yeah.
The first Xbox was a powerhouse.
Yeah, it was fine. It was just so weird.
That controller.
That controller, man. That controller was like it was like getting a Dreamcast for the first time.
Like a spaceship.
Like getting a Saturn, dude.
Yeah. All right, so tune in. We'll have some sort of reactions probably on next week's podcast to what we saw at the meeting. I'm sure we'll chat about it somehow, some way.
Check out game_stitch on Twitter. I'm sure that there's going to be stuff on there all week.
Yeah. So Nintendo had a Direct.
Whoop-de-doo.
I mean, we're approaching the NX. Obviously, it's time to talk about the 3DS.
Clearly.
You're right.
That's all I care about.
There's no better time to be playing a 3DS. So they decided to have a Nintendo Direct. They got out in front of it and said there'll be no NX news. There'll be no NX details. This is strictly a Direct focused on 3DS, and it was. I'm just going to go over some highlights, some things I thought were cool. Super Mario Maker coming to 3DS. This is the biggest announcement from this. It makes a lot of sense. The stylus will work just like it did on the Wii U. This is good. This is smart. I hope it doesn't play like shit. It shouldn't, because these games aren't tough to run.
Maybe this is a simple answer, but I wonder why it didn't launch at the same time as the Wii U.
No, that's a misstep.
Yeah.
Unless they just wanted everyone to buy 2 copies.
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know what the plan is there.
That's a game that missed the mark when it missed the mark by however many years whenever it came out, and now they've missed the mark by however many years for 3DS also.
It's fun. I would love to see that game on other platforms.
Yeah.
I think it would set the world on fire had it come out on PC and PS4 and Xbox One and Wii U and all that stuff. Animal Crossing New Leaf, the old school 3DS Animal Crossing, it is a legit Animal Crossing, is getting Amiibo support. It's going to work with the Amiibo cards. It's going to work with the Amiibo actual characters. So that's a big deal to me because I love Animal Crossing and I don't like the bullshit Happy Home Designer and Amiibo Festival Party 2K. I don't like all that bullshit, but I like real legit Animal Crossing, and for them to go back to an old ass game and patch in Amiibo support is pretty cool.
Yeah,
because that game's like 5 or 6 years old, I feel like.
Well, I think all Nintendo's got left is fan service, so
I like a good fan service,
right?
If you know what I mean.
So good on them for paying attention at least a little bit.
They showed off a multiplayer tank battle game that looked okay. They showed off some DLC for Hyrule Warriors for the 3DS.
You pumped about that?
Negative. I think people will be, though. But I don't. That doesn't do anything for me. Zelda Skyward Sword is now available in the eShop if you'd rather go that way to get that. Dragon Quest 8 Remake is delayed till 2017. I know people are bummed about that. Yoshi's Woolly World is getting a 3DS launch. It doesn't look quite as good to me, but it does look like all the levels from the Wii U are there. And they also have a Sweet Poochie yarn amiibo that's launching with it. That's the dog from that game.
I was about to ask you what a Poochie is.
Yeah, he's a dog. He'll look adorable next to the yarn Yoshi. So I'm excited about that. They showed off a new Mario Sports 3DS game. Looks fun. Looks like a game. They showed off Sun and Moon. You get early access to the pulverizing pancake Snorlax. If you pre-order that. But the second biggest announcement of the show, you see what I did there? I bookended this.
I see that.
I bookended this with the first. I'm going to bookend it with a second one here to close it, and then mixed in the middle was Animal Crossing.
I like that.
New Pikmin coming to 3DS. I love Pikmin.
Who doesn't really?
Terrorist.
Okay.
I don't know if we should say that on a podcast.
Just un-American people.
Yeah. No, people overseas can love it.
Well, they're Americans at heart then.
Traitors.
Sure.
Traitors don't love it. Pirates probably don't like it. People with phobias of little plants.
What? That's a thing?
Tiny plant phobia. They call it TPP.
TPP?
Yeah, so that's a thing. Yeah, Pikmin. So that was the Nintendo Direct in a nutshell. Please do yourself a favor and don't watch the whole thing. Take whatever I said that was exciting and just watch the video for that, because it was long. It felt long. It probably wasn't long. It felt like an eternity. Let's talk free games. Who doesn't like a big pile of free?
This is a big pile of shit.
Let's start with Xbox Games with Gold for September 2016. Xbox Live Gold members on Xbox One are going to get Earthlock Festival of Magic free during the month of September. They're also going to get Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and that'll be available the 16th of October, September 16th through the October 15th. On 360, you're going to get the first Forza Horizon.
That's a good get, but it's a little late.
Yeah, you're going to get that through September 15th. Then on September 16th, Live members are going to get Mirror's Edge through the 30th. Also a good game, but also old.
An odd one, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the free games for Games with Gold. Nothing there that's got me super excited. I thought Earthlock Festival of Magic might be good. Thought it may be people performing close-up magic, sleight of hand.
That would be an odd video game also.
Yeah, it turns out they're like using magic to cast spells. It's not as unique as I thought. I might see some card magic.
Yeah. No, it's not that. Coin magic, nothing like that.
Yeah. So that's a letdown. PlayStation Plus, free games for September. Don't get excited, PlayStation people. Your list sucks too. For PS4, you're going to get Lords of the Fallen, Journey, and Badlands. So Badlands and Journeys are both cross-play on PS3, and Badlands is actually cross-play on Vita and PS3. You're also going to get Datura on PS3, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands on PS3, and for Vita, you're going to get Amnesia Memories. I tried to make that exciting, but that sounds like a sad game.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a horror game, isn't it?
I can't remember.
It's one of those like Outlast type games. I think Amnesia actually did it first.
I don't know.
Well, that's true.
It could be.
Yeah.
PlayStation Moved, I talked about it earlier, but they are re-releasing those controllers. So for whatever reason you didn't hold on to those gems the first time you owned them, it looks like they're going to release them in a double pack. You don't have to have them for PlayStation VR, but I do think it makes the experience a little smoother than playing with a DualShock, especially if you're going to double fist it.
Yeah. Depends on the game for sure, I think.
Double fist and 2 dual shocks would be weird.
Yeah. But I think trying to play a racing game with 2 move controllers is probably also stupid, so,
You do it like a bike. Do it like this. You see my
Nobody
hands?
can see that except for me.
You see it. Look at it. Look what I'm doing.
Yeah, I got it. I see it.
That's like I was on a mining cart.
Is that how you drive your bike?
Yeah, that's exactly how I drive my bike. It's just chaos.
Sounds like it.
I just flip over constantly because I turn the wheel 90.
Right.
If you like more free, I'm about to hit you with one more thing. Overwatch. It's got a free weekend coming up. Starts September 9th, runs through the 12th. This is the full game you're going to get here.
I like
so
this.
It's a pretty big deal. On PS4, it's called Overwatch Free Weekend. It's a 9 gig download. On Xbox One, it's called Overwatch Origins Edition Free Weekend. It's 15 gigs over there. You do need an Xbox Live subscription. You do not need PlayStation Plus for this. So keep that in mind if you want to try it out. This game is people love this game.
Yeah, I can't wait to try it out because I've been on the fence about buying it.
So I think everybody should jump on and try this out.
Everybody's playing it right now. My brother's playing it. A lot of his friends and our friends from high school are playing it. I see them online every night, and so there's got to be something there. I don't know. Blizzard's got that magic touch with me. They know how to get me playing games.
The magic stick, some people call it.
Yeah. StarCraft, Diablo. They know how to get me going, man.
Yeah, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that. Any progress you make in that game obviously can be transferred if you just go ahead and give them the rest of the money or all of the money.
Mm-hmm.
But you do not pop trophies in this free weekend.
Shit.
So if you're a trophy whore / hunter, not a hunter of whores, but a hunter of trophies.
You're not going to be platinum in that thing this weekend.
No, sir.
All right.
Our final original story from the original podcast. We're going to add two housekeeping notes on the end of this. But Bill Nye, he's getting a show again. This one's going to be exclusive to Netflix. It's called Bill Nye Saves the World, which is a great name.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with this.
Nope. Netflix got out in front and said, hey, this is going to be Bill Nye being Bill Nye. It's a talk show. He's going to chat about the things that people get wrong, about the things that people think they understand that they don't, and it should be pretty entertaining. I expect he'll have guests.
Yeah.
It'll probably be wacky and silly, but it'll be fun. Bill Nye, a good guy, a true American.
What a hero.
What a hero. Bill William. You think it's William Nye?
You think he goes by William when he's offset?
I think he probably never goes by William because he is Bill.
You think Nye might be short for Nyquist?
Yeah, it's probably William Nyquist.
Yeah.
So he goes by Bill Nye because it's just too long.
Yeah.
He didn't want to waste a bunch of...
Also, William Nyquist doesn't rhyme with science guy, so...
That's true. William Nyquist, the science guy, sounds like a show I don't want to watch.
I mean, it sounds like a guy in a laboratory for sure, but Bill Nye the Science Guy sounds like a show. So
yeah, it's probably William Eugene Nyquist.
Garfunkel Nyquist.
The third.
Some weird-ass hippie name in the middle.
What if it's like William Prometheus?
No.
Nyquist.
Now, what if William's the middle name? What if it's like Andrew William Nyquist and he goes by William?
Ferdinand.
Oh, that's a good one.
William Nyquist the second.
Francis,
a good name.
Yeah.
Francis Underwood.
Great name.
Great name.
Yeah.
Francis J. Underwood.
Yeah. Strong.
Isn't that what he is, Jay?
I don't know what his middle initial is.
I think it's Jay. All right, so PAX is happening right now.
Sure it is.
PAX wasn't happening the first time we recorded.
Nope.
Doesn't look like much is happening at PAX. So a few things of note that I thought was worth talking about. Let me get over to the right section. Should have been more prepared.
I hope something huge happens at PAX this week so that what you just said doesn't make any sense. When you said nothing's really happening at PAX, and then like tomorrow PAX blows up on the day the podcast comes out.
No, we're fine. Duke Nukem 3D Anniversary Edition coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I think that's worth people who give a shit seeing that. The Walking Dead Telltale Season 3 debuts in November. And Friday the 13th, the game has a awesome new trailer.
Big fan of that one.
Yeah, so that's what I think you should care about from PAX right now. I'm sure there's some other stuff, but that's what I see is, a lot of these things just aren't getting announcements. There's too many of them.
Right.
If you're trying to go to PAX, all the different PAXs, you're going to, what's happening right now?
I got a laser pointer.
It's like SOS. You're going to the PAX, is the E3, is the experiences, the Gamescom, the Games Week. If you're doing all of this, it's just too much as a developer.
Yeah.
So, and PAX is a lot of indie stuff with the indie mega booth and there's stuff like that. So I think that PAX 10 is another thing they're doing for indie games. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of there, but nothing really that we could talk about that would make any sense. So that's a bonus content for you.
That's the one extra thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we've been asking questions on Twitter. Twitterus.
Whoa.
And
whoa.
It's fine. So we messed up last week.
Yeah.
We skipped a fantastic answer. So we want to go back. We'll start with last week's question. We're going to wrap up two of those. One we missed, one came a little late. We want to read those, and then we'll switch over to this week's question. So last week's question, we asked you, who is your favorite video game character to play of all time? Abel Knox, a.k.a. Bruja, at Evo Gaming Knox, said at Gamestitch, good question, tough answer. It would have to be the Belmont family from the Castlevania series, followed closely by Snake.
I like that Snake answer.
Let me read that last part because it ends with exclamation mark. Followed closely by Snake.
Let me throw this out there. Which snake? There
All
are
of them.
so many snakes.
What if he means an actual snake?
Could be that also. Like Snake, the cell phone game?
Yeah, what if he means Snake, the cell phone game?
I hope that is, because if you're talking about Metal Gear, you gotta say which Snake. You're either talking about Liquid, David, John, Solidus. There's spoiler alert for Metal Gear 5, you could be talking about Medic. You could be talking about
Clearly he's talking about the Nokia bar phone Snake.
the hardest
character.
game in the history of the universe.
So that Nokia bar phone, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I had a Sweet USA cover for it.
You still have
I
it,
read
probably.
The Stars and Bars USA.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I had that. And it looked pretty damn good. So, I miss that phone. I miss Snake.
It wouldn't work on today's network, so.
I play that fun, the Slither. Was it IQ Slither? Whatever that was. It's like a Snake knockoff multiplayer. Uh-oh. You hear the iPad going crazy? Trying to find you the name of this game. It's called Slither.io. I tried to get you to play it, but you were a baby about it. That game's fantastic because it's multiplayer Snake. But yeah, Snake. Shout out to Snake. So the next answer. Now this one we didn't miss. It just came in a little late, but it's our friend Garrett Wade. Enjoy my teabag on Twitter. And he said, Dante from Dante's Inferno. He created, lived, and survived, and fought his own hell. Fun game. Love the book. Love the game. We didn't play Dante's Inferno.
No, Dan did, though. Dan liked that shit.
He talked all about it on the podcast that we're not using.
Yeah.
Just know that Dan enjoyed the game, as did our friend here, Garrett. There was a lot of other stuff he said, but I don't remember any of it.
Yeah. I just remember loving God of War at that time and thinking, well, I don't need to play that.
I remember people talking about these vagina monsters.
Sounds right.
Yeah, these tentacles that came out of that general area that attacked you. But I don't know. I've not played the game. I don't have first-hand knowledge.
Might need to. Get that PlayStation now.
Might need to. You think that's up on there? It should be.
Probably.
Think they'd have sold more if they called that game Vagina Monster?
No. Probably wouldn't have sold any.
You're probably right. This week's question. Which game do you wish you could play again for the first time, and why? So we got a couple of responses on here. We're also going to tell you our answers.
As well as Dan's, because he did answer this question the last time we recorded. But we could have, he didn't have to, we could have answered it for him. So
he sure did answer, sort of.
Sure did, yeah.
Let's stay with Garrett on this one. Enjoy my teabag. Left 4 Dead. When I first played it, it was slower paced and terrifying. Now I just run through it without any jump scares.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because my answer to this question is Until Dawn. I did not know what to expect out of Until Dawn. I don't really like horror movies. I don't really like horror games. This was something totally different. It was fun. It was campy. It was silly. It was a good time. And I feel like I can never have that first time experience with that game again. But it's not one that's like super special to me in the way that Little Big Planet is or Mod Nation, where I wouldn't want to risk losing the memory I have now. But it is something that I would love to play again and feel the way I felt the first time I played through that.
But definitely a similar sentiment when it comes to both those games.
I think so.
Yeah, the magic changes when you play them twice.
Next, we've got Colorado at Jake_Cost on Twitter. He says Skyrim. Why? Because it won an Academy Award for best game ever made. It's in the Geneva Convention.
Which I don't think it is. I read the whole Geneva Convention. It's not in there.
You read the entire...
I read the entire document.
You celebrate the entire convention.
Right. I keep it one, just it's shadow boxed in my living room. You can read it.
You got a mobile version?
No. I have the actual Geneva Convention.
You have the one.
Like the one from the Smithsonian.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that even at the Smithsonian?
Probably not, no.
I don't know. It's signed by George Washington. Mine is, though, so it makes it special.
That's weird.
Yep.
So Dan's answer to this, you could probably guess it. He'd like to play the first Mass Effect again. Why? Because that's all he wants to do is play those games. That's the only thing he loves in life besides roughing it and living off the land.
Right, what better way to continue to enjoy his space fantasies than by forgetting that he ever played them and play them again?
If you told Dan to make a list of the things you like, in really large print, he would just write camping, without a cabin, like roughing it in the woods.
Yep.
And the Mass Effect series.
I think it's odd that a guy who likes to spend so much time in the dirt of the world likes to play a game about being in outer space. It's
an internal struggle that he carries with him every day.
Right. Like he's a man of this planet, but he wishes he could be otherworldly.
Well, he wants to embrace technology, but at the same time, he doesn't want to forget where he came from.
Right. The only technology he needs is starting a fire.
Yeah, so every now and then he just goes out in the land with cotton balls dipped in Vaseline, some flint.
And eats it.
Nope, that's not how that works. A string with a hook. He's going to tie that around a stick.
Yep.
And just a big bucket of give a damn, and he just goes out there and lives off the land.
Yep. There is something special about being able to skin a buck and run a trot line. So
yeah, I've heard that actually somewhere.
In a song, I think.
No, I don't think so. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah. I don't know.
So we also got an answer from a friend of ours. This was not on Twitter because we were chatting on the PlayStation Network. He had a struggle with this real internal battle, but he talked about it for about 40 minutes because he was all over the place. But I think what he finally arrived on was World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
A game that he poured a lot into, a game that he loved, that he fell in love with, that he played every single day, and he went on all the raids, and he had WoW buddies. I don't know if that's what they're called, but that's what I think they should be called.
Sure.
He had WoW Pals. That's better. Yeah, WoW Pals is better. So he had WoW Pals, and that's the experience he'd like to live over again. So shout out to our friend Howard, and now you can finish this off, Matt.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I can finish everybody off.
Finish me off.
Yeah. I don't like that. Mine is Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, Jesus Christ.
No, it's not.
Mine is the Last of Us, and it's for very similar reasons to how you felt about Until Dawn. The Last of Us is one of those games that the magic only exists on the first time. You know, it's scripted. You don't know what's going on. You're kind of lost just like everybody else is when you play it the first time. The second time, it's a struggle to make it through because you already know what's going to happen. You kind of... You know, once you know the ending, there's no reason to take the journey. So that's mine. If you've never played The Last of Us, definitely spend some time in that story. I think it's really engaging, and it's a really fun thought experiment. And I think it's one of those games that it takes something out of you. You know, when you play it, there's part of you that, like, I don't know, like, it changes. Like, you change a little bit when you play that game. I think. I don't think that's one of those few games. It's not just a game. And then honorable mention for me is Metal Gear Solid. Though I'm kind of like you when it comes to Little Big Planet. For you, Metal Gear is one of those games that I don't think I'd ever want to have the initial experience again, because I have this lifelong experience of Metal Gear at this point. So there's something special in that also, and that I think is just as valuable, if not more valuable, than the first time that I ever played the game that got me hooked. So yeah. So
the cool thing about this list is I could almost play every game except for mine for the first time. I didn't finish Last of Us.
Yeah, you really should.
I only had about 5 hours in Skyrim. About the same for Left 4 Dead. I've got maybe 2 hours in WoW. And I've never played Mass Effect.
Mass Effect is the only one on this list that I haven't. WoW, you know, I've never played that to the end game, but I've put hundreds of hours into WoW. But Mass Effect is the only one that I haven't played.
So I could play almost all of these.
Yeah. I do not like Mass Effect. It just came out at a terrible time for me. But you should definitely finish The Last of Us. That is a game that is.
I've tried twice.
It's special, man. It really is. So
it doesn't grab me. I've tried twice.
Yeah, but maybe without the pressure of like multiplayer, or if anybody telling you what to do.
I mean, I didn't have that the second time I played. I played through the first time on PS3 and I quit because I just wasn't having a good time. Decided to power through on PlayStation 4, drop it down to baby mode, and still just didn't have fun with it. I mean, I get it. I understand why people like it. It's just not. It didn't resonate with me, and I don't know why.
That story, it blew me away.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Thanks for all the participation. Remember, you can answer us on Twitter. You can answer us on Facebook. You can send us an email, podcast@gamestitch.com. You can send a carrier animal. Just make sure that it gets here in time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's going to be tough because you don't know where any of us are at.
Or
are also. You don't know where we're at or are.
Yeah. That's
or at are.
Dangling participle. You want to get rid of those.
So you want to send your carrier animal as soon as possible.
If the question goes up on Wednesday, you're going to want to have an answer and send the carrier animal on Wednesday.
Yeah. So stay away from things like bears and tigers. They have a tough time making it through urban areas.
Foxes are where I would go.
Fox. Anything with flight is usually fast. Condors.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good.
I think those are extinct, man.
No, you can grab one of those. Albatross.
What about like a falcon?
Nah, it's too common.
Bald eagle.
I send mine by way of finch.
Too small.
I send tiny messages
Too small.
through a finch.
What if that's how drug dealers were passing drugs around, was by carrier pigeon? That's a great
smart.
idea.
That's smart, because you catch a pigeon with a kilo of coke strapped around his ankle.
God damn!
And you're like this fucking pigeon is dealing the coke, not somebody sent this pigeon to somebody.
Right. It's hard to track the pigeon too. There's not notes on it. There's no license plate. Nothing like that.
What happens when the business is good and there's just a stream of pigeons
just chilling outside
over your town? There's just a line of pigeons all following each other.
You're going out
deals.
tying little baggies to their ankles. Yeah.
No, I put them in vials.
All right.
Little glass ones, because that's part of the gimmick. Is you get nice packaging.
Yeah. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah, you're paying for the fact that a pigeon. Yeah, that a goddamn pigeon's bringing it to you, and the fact it's in a nice bottle, a little keepsake.
Right. Drugs are cheap. You're paying for the experience.
We call it pigeon powder.
Mm.
No actual pigeons were harmed in the making of this cocaine. Well, there could have been, but not that I know of.
You just buy it from a supplier.
Well, you're a wholesaler.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're going on the FBI's most wanted list for this podcast.
Prove it's my pigeons, all I'll say.
You seem to know a lot about cocaine and the cocaine business.
Yeah, I'm really well versed in it. So, yeah. Anyways, answer the question. We appreciate it. We like it. The interaction's fun. And then we give you lots of ways to answer it. So look for that Wednesday morning-ish, around lunchtime-ish.
Yeah,
sometime Wednesday.
Yeah. Schedule will get tighter as I get better at it.
Tight ass schedule. You know what I'm talking about? Like that
schedule.
Like that schedule. Spend a little time in the gym. Takes care of itself. That schedule's its own temple. Couldn't figure out how to make that last part work.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's time for the newest and the bestest ever segment in the entire earth. Gone but not forgotten. Hashtag GBNF if you want to answer on Twitter. We reach back in our gaming past. We dust off an old classic. An old game of the year, maybe some might say. Not this one, but some of them.
No, definitely not this one.
It's my turn. I went with the classic Skitchin.
Classic,
Skitchin.
Indeed.
Not skitching. Skitchin.
Yeah. Most objective use of classic I've ever heard.
Right. So, when you brought up Road Rash...
Subjective.
This is what I thought of.
Okay.
I thought of Skitchin, because these two games go hand in hand for me. Because clearly Skitchin's the kind of game that pops up when a game like Road Rash is doing well. So you're an inline skater, which is hardcore. It's a hardcore sport. It's an extreme sport, like motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're an inline skater, and the only way to get around fast is obviously to hold on to the back of cars or bikes or things of that nature. So it's a race. You have to take out other rival inline skaters as they try to pass you. You have to stay away from the police cops because they don't like skitching. Skitching's illegal.
Well, it's dangerous.
Yeah, this is an old school Electronic Arts game, and it does not hold up. But if you watch about 45 seconds of videos, you can understand why it was special in its time and place, I think.
Probably.
So Skitchin for the Sega Genesis, that was the home. That's where I played it. That's where I loved it. It's not as good as Road Rash. It does not need to come back, but it was a fun game for its time.
I would love to see it come out now and nobody, it wouldn't make sense to anybody.
Because people would be like, what are inline skates?
Right, what's skitching? What's an inline skate? Why would you do this? Conceptually, it doesn't make any sense.
It's real hard not to call them rollerblades.
Because that's what they are.
I mean, they're inline skates.
Can you tell me what the differences between blades and inline skates?
Well, rollerblade's a brand.
So it's like Bush Hog.
Yeah, or Weed Eater. Q-Tip.
I understand.
Jeep.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
No, I get it. Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Okay.
I get it.
So it's one of those. So yeah, they are sweet ass blades.
Yeah.
What if we got some blades now? What if we got some short shorts and some blades, and we just went out and took care of our bodies?
Not in that manner. I mean, you don't have to do it on inline skates. I'll tell you what, I'm not coordinated enough. The last time and the only time I ever stood in a pair of inline skates, I almost broke both my ankles because of the way you have to stand.
Oh, I bladed hard.
God dang, of course you did.
Yeah, I was masterful on those things.
Of course you did. Do you have some soaps too?
No, I wish. I still want some soaps now as a grown-ass man because I want to just grind this shit out of something.
Yeah. You're just walking along and you jump across something and start sliding. People are like, what the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, you just grind the shit out of something. You just walk up and grind the hell out of it.
Yeah. You still have to wax stuff. I don't understand that.
You have to wax it. You have to wax probably the shoe a little bit.
Yeah. It's just like skateboards. You got to wax everything for 25 minutes and then you videotape it like you just did it out of nowhere.
And you take 250 takes and you use one and you yell first try after you finish it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Shout out to Braille Skateboard, and they make some fantastic YouTube videos.
Those guys, they know how to get me.
Right now you're thinking, why do I care? I'm not into skateboard, and I listen to this podcast for video game news and or topical items. Mm-hmm. On the last one I just watched, I watched it last night. It's brand new. They skate an NES.
Yeah, I saw that one go up.
Yeah, so they also skate a PS4,
PS3.
maybe in 360. They skate a lot of gaming related things, so there you go.
Also seen him skate a door, so
a ladder. Yeah, there are some non-gaming things. Yeah, there are some non-gaming related. Bouncy ball wheels. That's a new one.
Yeah, they'll put trucks and wheels on anything and just skate it.
It's true. But yeah, check those guys out. They're pretty funny.
Yep.
If you have a Gone But Not Forgotten for us, make sure you hit us up on Twitter or through email or through Facebook. Make sure you use the hashtag GBNF or you say Gone But Not Forgotten so we don't get confused about why you're just blasting out a game title.
Not that that's not acceptable either.
Right, but if I just turn it on and it's like Princess Tomato, I'm not going to know where you wanted that to go.
Hey, but I'm not mad if people just want to tweet us random game titles.
I mean, I guess that's okay.
Seems fine.
I don't know what to do with that info.
I'll take whatever I can get right now. Just tweets.
Speaking of taking what you can get, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
At @game_stitch. I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Goddammit Matt. And there's a change. Dan is no longer at Tolhurst 2002.
Thank God.
If you're already following, you've seen this change. If you're new to this, if this is your first time, or if you just haven't followed Dan, start following him around. And he is now at Shirtless Dan, which is a way better name.
That took us 3 years to get him to change it.
Right. We realized last week when we first used cameras, when we first saw each other during the podcast, that he doesn't wear a shirt. I thought it was because we recorded in the morning. This time we recorded at night. Still didn't have a shirt on.
Nope. He's just not a shirt guy.
Yeah. That guy probably comes home, tears his shirt off, throws it in the trash can, and just spends the rest of his day like that.
He's just got like a drawer full of brand new bagged up shirts.
Yep. They're thin, though, because he's got to be able to tear them.
Yeah.
Maybe he puts a starter hole up in the neck that you don't see.
He puts a little clip right here. Just gets a little snip with the scissors.
Yeah. Yeah, he throws a piece of clear tape on it.
Because it's the collar. The collar is what holds you back.
Oh yeah, you're not tearing that as a normal man.
Yeah, you gotta cut the collar.
Yeah.
Or you gotta get the shirts that don't have the braided thread collar. They're just like a shirt up and it's just hemmed over. But those shirts are usually really expensive.
Yeah, or they have the bacon neck.
Bacon neck, goddamn. But if you only wear them one day, you're not gonna get bacon neck.
That's true. That's true. They're crisp. They're fucking fresh. You take them out of their pouch, their sack that they come in, you toss them on, you tear them off at night. This goes back to him wanting to live off the land and be a camper. I mean, he can't wear shirts because that's not natural.
Right.
It's not how he came into this earth.
You think Dan watches that YouTube channel, Primitive Technology?
I think so.
I love that channel.
I think he's going to be real upset when he hears how much we talked about camping.
Yeah. Well,
really
I don't think so because he's getting to camp right now. He's going to be super pumped that we're talking about his favorite pastime.
Right. He wanted to go with Camper Dan, and we said, let's do Shirtless Dan.
Right, because nobody will get Camper Dan because we don't talk about how much he loves camping.
Right. He wanted to be at Camper Dan, Mass Effect fan, 2002.
Yeah.
But we're like, this is really long, Dan.
Yeah.
You have to pick something shorter. Let's just do the fact that you don't wear a shirt. And let's go with Shirtless Dan.
Yeah.
He followed us a little bit.
N7 Camper Dan.
Right.
360 no scope 420 XX. That was what he wanted to go.
Quick
with.
scope, no scope, 420 ganja.
Ganja.
He wanted to be Dank Dan.
Dank Dan. That would have been a good one too.
Which we learned was like a moist Dan.
Dank Dan would have been good, man. We should have thought
Dan.
of that.
Yeah. What if he was shirtless Dank? Sounds like something different, doesn't it?
It's just putting a K on the end of his name. We'll just start calling him Dank. Dank. Start calling him Dank.
He's the dankest Dan in the land.
He's the only Dan I know.
Right. Me too. That's why I said that. I kind of like dankest Dan in the land, though. It flows. I gotta lay down a freestyle. Right there.
You don't need to, though.
Agree to disagree. I think I always need to lay down a freestyle. So again, follow at Shirtless Dan, at Podcast Ryan, at Goddammit Matt, and at Game_Stitch to keep up with all of us. And like you alluded to it earlier, we got some changes coming, some new hotness we're going to shove into your ears. So tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you like to see change. It doesn't mean we're going to listen, but we're in the phase where we're making some changes. So if you don't like the show, you might be in luck. It's weird that you don't like it. You've listened to 191 episodes and you made it all the way through this one. But if you are one of those people, some subtle changes coming that I think is going to really spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like spices?
My
Besides
grandmother.
The IBS, if that's a thing.
I know a lot of people that don't even put salt in their food.
I'm not a big salt guy, but I like spice. I like a little heat.
I don't like to put extra salt, but you gotta salt stuff while you're cooking it or it tastes like garbage water when it hits the plate.
I don't like the kind of hot where you're like torturing yourself. Where you're like crying, your butthole's gonna have to bleed this afternoon.
Hey, you ever had Hattie B's?
Yeah. No. I've had hot chicken though.
You should come down and let's go to Hattie B's one afternoon.
I don't want to bleed out my butt though.
They've got the kind that's not super hot, dude.
We have a hot chicken place here, Helen's.
Helen's is garbage.
Helen's is a little hot.
There's a Helen's down here too. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Helen's and Prince's and stuff like that, that's just hot for the sake of being hot.
Right.
Like, you don't really taste the chicken. It's just hot to be hot. Hattie B's, the chicken's good.
I got hot, and it was fucking hot.
Yeah.
I got the hot chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
I wanted to rub those waffles on my face to absorb anything that touched my lips by accident.
Yeah. You should come have Hattie B's, because Hattie B's, you get the mild, like it's just hot enough that you get a little bit of spice, but the chicken tastes real damn good. That's what keeps you eating it.
Yeah, I don't want to have to come home and take a milk bath.
No, you'd be fine. Yeah.
That's really the key.
Yeah. Well, come on down. We'll do Hattie B's.
No milk baths.
Buttermilk bath.
I'll tell you what's weird. I just got an email from myself.
That's funny. Read it on the air.
Okay.
What's it say?
So it's from me to me. It says, "Good day. We're looking for employees working remotely. My name is Christy. I'm a personal manager of a large international company. Most of the work you can do from home. This is it. At a distance. Salary $2,600 to $5,600. Doesn't say per week, per day, per year.
Per year, probably. So they were for a large international company, but they didn't drop the name, so you can Google it.
Their name is Christy, but it came from my email to my email because they're using some black magic,
right?
Some voodoo.
You may want to report that as spam.
Yeah, already done did. I said, Jamel, this is spam. And they said, all right, thanks. We're not going to keep it from coming. It was actually already in my spam folder.
Oh, okay. Well,
sometimes I like to see what's in my spam folder because I like the names.
I've got one sitting there. Let's check it out real quick.
All right. I hope it's a Get Your Dick Hard.
No, it's from Twitter. It says popular in your network.
Oh, that's a real email.
Yeah, but I don't like to read them. I send that shit straight to spam.
It's not spam.
I send that shit straight to spam. I've got standards. Like, I've got keywords and stuff that get filtered out automatically. Anything
that says dick in it?
Yeah, if it says penis.
Or penis, yeah. There's a lot of penis enlargements.
Yeah. Sometimes I go read those anyway, but...
Yeah, me too. And I know I'm just going to get more because I read them, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to know what they're about. Because it'll be like, hey, local whores in your area. I'm like, nah.
I gotta see who this is. Maybe I know them.
Right. I open it and it's not about that at all.
Right.
And then I'm like, damn it, you got me again.
Right.
So, if you're a spammer, I just gave you a little piece of information on how to get somebody.
Shout out your personal email address.
I'll shout out my phone number too.
Do it.
You want my social?
Number.
Yeah. This has been episode 191. Dan's Gone Camping. Camp Fest. Camper Dan.
2016.
Camper Dan. N7.
420 no scope.
If he hears Camper Dan N7, he might change his name to that.
I hope not, because Shirtless Dan's too good. We should lock out his Twitter right now.
Maybe we should get at Camper Dan N7 so he can't. We should squat on it. Yeah. We'll make up camperdan@gmail.com and we won't buy that. We'll buy camperdan.com.
Okay.
And then we'll get the Twitter handle so that he can't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like to make a Squarespace page, camperdan.com.
How about Dan? Like, it's just Dan and his hobbies. But
it's
Dan
how we
put it together.
It's how we see Dan's hobbies.
Right.
Like, what if we took everything Dan said and we just blew it up to the extreme and made a cartoon out of it?
That'd be real fun.
He wouldn't like it any.
Yeah, but we'd have a good time with it.
It'd be a blast.
We could tweet it out.
I'm not even
Tuesday.
fucking camping, right? And they're like, yeah, you are.
Right. Check out camperdan.com. We got new updates this Tuesday.
Shout out to camperdan.com. Keeps the lights on here at Gamestitch. I'm totally comfortable saying that. Now, real quickly, I'm going to check camperdan.com.
I hope somebody's got it already. We got to buy them out.
I'll consider using my whole life savings for that.
Jesus, really?
Oh, camperdan.com. It's got a squatter on it.
God damn it. Of course it does.
Buy or rent this domain. RVs for sale. Campers for sale. Camper rental. Damn, Camper Dan.
Camper
what about
Dan 7?
I'm going to check dancamper.com. It's not as smooth as Camper Dan.
What about campingdan.com?
That's really on the nose.
Yeah.
What about daniscamping.com?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Dan Camper is a real thing. It's got some nonsense on it. Conversion vans. Dan is camping.com. daniscamping.com is not a website.
Nice. That might be the one.
Yeah. All he does is camp. Camp. That's all he knows.
Yeah. Anytime he misses a show, we can just say, hey, if you want to see what Dan's up to, head over.
We got a live camper cam on Dan. He just periscopes it.
Right. You just get a loop of like a camera out in the woods.
Yeah, what if every time we went camping, we just looped the same 14-second clip?
Yeah.
Of him like walking into frame, looking at the camera, flexing, and then walking off of the frame, and then walking back from the other side again. Like he looped around the camera.
Yeah.
I think that'll work. With a fire in the background that's not going, but it's still smoking.
Yeah.
Like it just recently went out.
Right.
And then every fifth one, it's a bear that walks across and flexes.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. Why would it?
You're
flex?
like, did I just see a bear, or was that Dan?
Right.
Because he's becoming one with nature.
Got it.
That's exactly why he would do that.
Understood.
This has been episode 191. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the show. Be sure to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeart, Spreaker, TuneIn. Wherever you listen, however you listen, subscribe, like, follow, share. Tell your buddies about us. Tell your friends about us. Tell strangers about us. Walk up, grab them by the back of the neck and say, hey, listen to this podcast. Maybe throw an or else on the end. I don't know. Don't give them an or else because then you have to go to prison, but maybe just say or else and walk off.
Doesn't mean anything if you don't say what or else is. It's just the implication.
Or else we're going to hug it out. It's not a threat.
Right.
I mean, it is, I guess, if you're not a hugger.
But just say or else because they don't know.
Right. Because it could be or else I'm going to give you $100 and you'd be like, okay,
right.
I won't listen.
He said, she said situation. The cops don't give a shit. So
that's right. So I don't know if that's true either. But thanks for making this part of your day. Remember, this podcast posts every Monday, 6 a.m. over at Gamestitch.com and all the appropriate sites shortly thereafter. You have anything? We usually close with a final thought from Camper Dan.
No, I don't have anything.
Did he have one?
Probably it was something silly, though.
What
he was
on
some
I can't remember.
Weird thing the other day. He was on some kind of soapbox.
Well, clearly he's juicing.
Questions on Wednesday. Big site update and podcast changes on episode 200, which is in 9 weeks. That's all I have. That's all I've got.
Play No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Play No Man's Sky.
I feel like there's something
Fairy Tale Fights.
Go buy stock in Naughty Bear.
Play Naughty Bear. 505 games.
I really feel like there's something I'm forgetting, but I don't remember what it is. I'll tweet it out if I remember it.
Is it about beef jerky?
No, it sounds good though.
I love beef jerky. Favorite snack food? Beef jerky.
I like a peanuts and Coke situation.
Yeah, that's good, but I like a good tube of meat.
Yeah,
you know?
I like Oreo cookies also.
And when I say jerky, I don't mean a Slim Jim. And if that's immediately what your brain went to, fuck you, non-jerky eater.
I always think Mingua.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a local thing, regional, so that's not going to make sense everywhere, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to say Jack Link's, though, because that's bullshit.
Yeah, Jack Link's is like almost dog food.
Yeah, it's almost dog treats. If you want to get that, that's fine. I appreciate you at least trying, but that's not jerky. It'll do in a pinch.
If your teeth don't hurt after you've eaten it, you didn't eat jerky.
Their turkey's good. Their chicken's pretty good. Their Korean barbecue pork is pretty good.
Do you get that? You get that feeling like after you eat jerky, like real jerky, like you get that feeling like where your teeth and your gums meet. Like if you get some pressure there, like it kind of hurts and tickles at the same time.
That's how you know you're still human, though. You got to feel a little pain in your mouth sometimes.
That's how you know you got the real stuff. Like I shouldn't eat another piece because it hurts, and then you just start gnawing on another piece the size of a pig's ear.
Yeah, there are some soft brands which you need every now and then if you've been working it hard for a couple days.
Fuck that.
Shout out to World Trader. They got a soft jerky. I love jerky a lot. Now, there's nothing wrong with a Slim Jim. Just know that that's a meat stick and not jerky.
Yeah.
It's a processed meat stick, and I love them. I love the nacho cheese one. I love the Tabasco one.
Remember the ones that they had that were like the black packaging because they were so hot?
Oh, the Dare?
Yeah, they don't have those anymore.
It's just a tube of fire.
Yeah, they had like 3 different spicinesses.
Bleeding butthole, yeah.
Yeah. I like
that.
Those.
Wasn't one of them. Yeah. Like, it was like just sending like a pressed meat form of pain right down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
I tried all those. They weren't that hot. But they also weren't that good. Don't buy the monster ones. They're too big. The monster Slim Jims.
Too much grease in them.
They are greasy. That's what makes them good. If you ever want to go real fucking crazy, peel a Slim Jim.
Like peel the casing off of it?
Yeah.
No.
That's wild too.
Mm-hmm.
They're not pretty.
It's
not pretty under there.
It's wet dog food in there.
It's not pretty. It looks like it's mixed with sawdust too.
Yeah, you can see the teeth.
This has been episode 191 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Good night.
Good night.
First try. The second try though.
Yeah, second try.